Now let us see what is the life cycle of an activity. Now activity is one screen, a one web page kind of a thing that shows up on the mobile screen part of an application. Now if you've gone through applet have a similar circle of a life cycle. Now let us see what cycle it follows for an activity. Now as you had already seen, whenever we have created an activity, as we had done before, we had written a method called onCreate. Now this is the first method that is called in the life cycle of a activity, and after onCreate the system shifts to onStart when things begin to take shape, and further it transpires to a method called onResume. Now this is the method where the activity is fully visible to the user and the interaction between the user and the activity begins to start. So this is where now the activity is fully functional, beginning from the method onResume. Now onCreate usually we use to initialize the components of the screen, to build up any initial connection to a database or a connection to a file. So this is where everything related to initialization happens, and onResume is where things have completely taken shape and the activity is in a full functional state. Now suppose we shift to another activity, or some notification comes which is partially obscuring the screen. So when the activity is partially visible and partially it is covered by some other activity, system gives a call to onPause. Now all these methods, why these are provided? These are provided as callbacks for you to properly take charge of different situations that occur during the lifetime of an activity. Because suppose we have an activity that is playing some video. Now when the screen that is playing the video to the user is not visible, there is no sense in playing the video when the user is not viewing the activity playing the video. So we'll have to take control of that situation through appropriate method and hold on the video when the user is not when the player is not visible to the user, and resume it when the activity again comes into position and the user has a focus to the video player. So this gives an option to us to properly control the flow of our program as per the user interaction with the activity. So it all starts with onCreate, goes to onStart, onResume, everything begins in full flow. Now partially hindrance to the activity calls onPause. In case the activity is completely invisible to the user, system gives a call to the onStop. Now as soon as after onStop we again resurface our activity, system gives a call to onStart, and we again start the process with onStart and then onResume, and the work again begins. So in case there is some shortage of resources or system runs low on memory, then it can directly call onDestroy from onPause also, or it can even destroy the activity from onStop itself. So onDestroy, in case you press the back button on the your mobile, the activity it is removed from the backstack and the system calls onDestroy and the activity is removed from the stack. So the next process will again start from onCreate, and then a similar process will be followed. So I hope this clears the life cycle of an activity. So what really is important to see here is that the activity might get a restart through onRestart, or it might get a restart through onResume. So this is the method which we are very sure of being called, irrespective of whether system comes back through onStop or system comes back through onPause. So this is where we can put down our code to resume things after these has been paused or stopped. So the two methods that should contain the code to stop things and to resume things should be onPause to give a pause to the things, and on resume to again resume the activities that you had stopped within the on pause, because these two methods are guaranteed to be called for every for any obscurity to the activity and resuming of the activity. So we've written a small activity. I have put on all the methods in the life cycle of the activity to see when these are called. In order to save time, I've already put down a toast message. Now we haven't seen what exactly the toast message. Now toast is a small message that will pop up on the emulator. You might have seen if you make a call, sometimes a message pops up at the bottom of the screen that a caller is busy or a similar message like that. So that all that message comes through the toast. So what are the parameters to show up a toast is the context, which is the current activity, a message that you need to show, the length for the message that you want to show, either can be short or can be long, and then you finally show up the toast. So we put on a toast for every method, and let us now run this to see when the life cycle methods are called. So as you can see, on create, on start, then resume. So now at this point of time the activity is in direct contact with the user, and it can take any input or whatever interaction it wants with the user we can do. Now suppose I pop this activity off the shelf, pause, stop and destroy. So when you move the activity off the stack, the system systematically calls pause, stop and destroy. We'll rerun this to see how we can get the activity back from stop. Now again on create, start and resume. Now what I'll do is I'll make a small call to the emulator through the DDMS. I'll say a call to this. Okay, so I'll make a call to this. Now as soon as the call comes, the system calls pause, and if the call is still continuing, it calls on stop. And now let me end the call. Right, disconnect it. Now as soon as we remove this caller screen, you'll see we got a restart, again start and then resume, and then we are again in full flow. The activity is in full flow and in a resumed state where it is again in a full running mode. So this is how the life cycle of an activity works. Different methods that are provided as callbacks to properly monitor the running of the application.